The 3-0. That's it. He's hitting the left field. Around second, heading to third, Mazzara. Beltre goes for 2, and it's a standout double. And there it is, number 3,000 for Adrian Beltre. Absolutely one of the greatest moments in this ballpark's history, and there is that moment's author, Adrian Beltre, as we get ready for the final game here at home in 2018, Mariners and Rangers. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond alongside CJ Nikowski, and look, Rangers fans certainly hope that this is not the last they see of Adrian Beltre, but you can't be too careful. This may indeed be the last game here for Adrian Beltre. In that case, we don't want to miss the opportunity to reflect on what has been an incredible career.
It certainly has been, and as you mentioned, Ranger fans are hoping that this is not it. But just in case, we kind of want to run you through some of the great things that have happened over the career of Adrian Beltre and the damage that he has done offensively at this ballpark. Now, this is a minimum of 1,000 plate appearances as far as having the highest batting average ever in this park. Incredible at .330 in nearly 600 games. You see the 120 home runs, the RBIs, the hits, the OPS, the 3 cycles. How about the fact that he had 3 of those here? Pretty incredible for Adrian Beltre. We want to take you through some of those moments, and they have been a lot of fun for Ranger fans to watch over the years. And this one back in 2011, Game 5 of the World Series, the Rangers trailing by 1, and Adrian Beltre goes down to that patented one-knee swing, hits that solo shot that tied the game in the 6th inning at 2-2. And then August 24th, 2012, the cycle. They are so difficult to come by. A single, double, triple, home run, all in the same game where Adrian Beltre did it. We told you he's done it 3 times in this ballpark. It has been pretty amazing to see that line shot home run, then coming through with the base hit in his final at bat to make that happen. That was a fun one. We always love the round numbers. How about home run number 400 back on May 15th of 2015 to dead center off the lefty Bruce Chen. Another nice moment for Adrian in this ballpark. And then some fun moments. Remember this one from last year where he was told to stand on the on-deck circle, and he said, well, I want to stand here, so I'm going to move the on-deck circle. Adrian Beltre was ejected from the game, and Jeff Bannister at the time not very happy about it. And then probably the pinnacle of Adrian Beltre's career last year, hit number 3,000 is doubled on the left field line. Remember, it was on a 3-0 count at the time. Pretty amazing to see, and just a great moment for Ranger fans, for this franchise, and for Adrian Beltre's family who joined him on the field.
And literally, that is just a sampling of what he has accomplished, not just in his career, but as a Texas Ranger. It has been a delight watching him these years. And for a little bit more on Adrian, we check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, when he signed here before the 2011 season, I don't think anyone anticipated that we would see what we saw from Adrian Beltre over the course of the last 8 seasons. And for that matter, I don't think Adrian Beltre thought that he would be giving us the memories that you guys just shared with us. And in talking to him this week, I asked him, you know, what was it like for you to have this fan base? You come in here and it literally fall in love with you, right? Which is what this fan base has done. And in true Adrian fashion, he told me how awkward that was for me to say it. And then he said, you know what, the feeling is mutual. He has fallen in love with this fan base, with this community, with this organization, and it has been such a joy to watch over the last 8 seasons. We, of course, hope that this is not his last, but if indeed is his last home game as a Texas Ranger, it has been quite a ride for those of us who have been alongside to watch it unfold before our very eyes. Adrian Beltre will be in the lineup, of course, today behind Martin Perez, who gets his first start in almost a month. Dave and CJ will put him in the spotlight when we return.
Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. By the new Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Season, and all the fans know. They get it. Okay, please. It's so good to these fans over the years, and they have loved him so much. And we prepare for the final home game of this season. Beltre has not made an announcement one way or the other, but regardless, we've decided to enjoy and maybe reflect on his career here today nonetheless. All right, time for our Shiner Spotlight today. And it's on Martin Perez, who's back in the rotation.
Yeah, for Martin Perez, he has been waiting for this. It has been a struggle. You see what he's done with his 13 starts this year and the nearly 7 ERA. He pitched very well in relief. Those 6 appearances that he had, the ERA was good, the opponent's batting average, but what he wants to prove and what he wants for his career going forward is to be in the rotation. And so Martin will get 2 more starts, this one and then 1 more after that before the season ends. And so he has something to prove, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He has been looking forward to this moment and hoping that he will have the opportunity and he will take advantage and run with it.
Yeah, this should be interesting. And Martin very happy to be back in this spot. And he said as much to us yesterday that he is pleased that the organization shows that they still have confidence in him. And Don Wakamatsu said today he wants him to approach it like a relief outing. Go out there and let it go and see how far you can run that today. And so we'll see what he does against these Seattle Mariners. The Mariners 85-69, and they are out of the playoff chase on all fronts. And today their lineup, Gene Segura leads it off at shortstop. Robinson Cano at second, Nelson Cruz the DH. Healy, Seager, and Cameron Maben in the middle of the order. Negron in right field, Heredia in center. David Freitas will do the catching today and bat ninth.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the pitch arsenal for Martin Perez, which is brought to you by Shiner Dry Quencher Session Ale. And for Martin, we know this about him, right? Lots of two-seam fastballs, 51% of the time. Changeup, four-seamer, curveball, that occasional slider that he uses as well. And the fastball, especially the four-seamer, had been a little bit of an issue for Martin, but we'll see how he responds today after not pitching for a while and being in the bullpen.
Well, his first offering, right in there for strike one. Well, Gene Segura, 304 average. Doing better on the road than he does at home. Game time temperature today, 69.
That is nice. And how about a little overcast as well, so we don't have to deal with any sun or really no humidity. This is a beautiful change of pace just in time as the season was ending. Where was this a month ago?
High fly ball, short right field, and Mazzara right there. And Martin Perez gets a quick out to start his afternoon.
How about the Rangers defense this afternoon, which is delivered to you by the Texas Department of Transportation. Ryan Rua getting a start in left field today, Carlos Tocci in center, and you just saw Nomar Mazzara in right field. And in the infield this afternoon, you got Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus, Jurickson Profar, Ronald Guzman, and Robinson Chirinos behind the plate.
Okay, so one away, and Cano, 301 average, but 9 homers, 46 RBIs, and he takes strike one. Well, we see the fastball at 95 miles per hour. We saw him in relief, getting a little hotter readings than that even. And we'll see as he gets loose here in this first inning if maybe that velocity does stay up around 95 or better.
Remember, for a while, Martin Perez was one of the harder throwing left-handed starters in the game. He'd always be in that top 4 or 5. He took a little bit of a step back this year, but there is something to be said for rediscovering your velocity when you go into the bullpen. We talk about that a lot. Now, kind of trying to draw the comparison to maybe Danny Duffy with the Royals, right? He was kind of a back and forth guy. Didn't have nearly the track record that Martin had in the rotation, but after he came out of the bullpen, his fastball played up.
Chopper up the middle, bare hand, and throw in time. Elvis Andrus turns in a nice one to take care of Robinson Cano.
Elvis does a nice job of making this look much easier than it really is. He got that high chopper, but he knew that he was going to have to bare hand this because the ball was in the air as long as it was. And you feel pretty good about how that ball is going to bounce, but you never completely know. The surface here at Globe Life is just about perfect, but because of all the rain, we saw it yesterday with Nomar Mazzara, a ball bounced a little bit differently maybe than expected. It's great concentration and a nice play by Elvis.
So 2 up, 2 down on 6 pitches for Perez, and now Nelson Cruz, or as his close friends call him, it's simply Crew.
Yeah.
Those are just for people in the inner circle, though. Martin, fly out and a ground out. You see Cruz's numbers very good again this year. He's Mr. Consistency. He gets ahead 2-0. He's had some success against Martin. Cruz 9 for 28 against him. That's a .321 average, and 3 of the 9 hits have gone over the fence. Hits this ball hard out to center field. Tochi going back near the wall, and he'll make the catch. It's just a long, loud out for Cruz, and a quiet top of the first for Martin Perez. And now here come the Rangers. Their hacks this afternoon, and our Southwest Airlines starting lineup: Shin-Soo Choo leading it off as a DH, Profar at second, Andrews at short. In the middle of the order, Beltre starts at third, Mazar in right field, Chirinos catching. Guzman, Ryan Rua, and Carlos Tochi at the bottom of the order this afternoon. And those guys will be the opponents for Wade LeBlanc, left-hander, 8-4 on the year with a .349 ERA, and boy, he gets a gift strike call on that first pitch.
The reaction from Choo, I think, tells you all you need to know. Plus, you saw that pitch as well. It's frustrating for Choo to see that, and he's got to be wondering, is that going to be happening all afternoon?
David Rackley, our plate umpire today, and the man in charge of the balls and strikes. It's hard to be perfect. That one did definitely look a little high. 1-1. Good breaking ball for strike 2. Choo with the on base of .383 this year. Very good. And you saw the note about the walks. He has piled them up to the tune of 91 walks this season. Wade LeBlanc, meanwhile, this is his 26th start. He's also pitched 5 times in relief. And a bouncing ball to the right side of the infield. Easy play out there for Cano, 1 away.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal for Wade LeBlanc and what he has used this year. Pretty interesting to see that the changeup at 31% is the pitch that he has thrown the most. That is not something you see very often. The two-seam fastball 28% of the time. He also throws that cutter, and then you'll see an occasional curveball and a 4-seam fastball. What really is all about the changeup, the two-seamer, and the cutter for the lefty. So nothing that is straight amongst that group. Moving it in and out. Not an overpowering fastball by any means. Averaging just 86 miles an hour. You see one there at 87.
Sorry. Profar misused his bat. Oh.
This almost acts like a changeup because that fastball does not have the high velocity, and you see that thing just come flying out of the hand of Jurickson Profar. And
I like the nice loose hands.
Yeah. You got to be quick, Dave, down there. Got to be heads up, right? You're so locked into trying to get the perfect shot. The last thing you're thinking about is a bat coming at you like a helicopter.
Yeah. Good boy, Dave. Hang with him. May that be the last of the afternoon. No balls, 2 strikes on Profar.
It's almost like a disappearing fastball, right? Those are 2 fastballs at 87 miles an hour. We've talked about the great year that Jurickson Profar has had. The slugging, you see the nearly 800 OPS, and he looks absolutely baffled by 87 right now.
Puts this one off into the bat and right past first base. Profar takes a good wide turn, but he'll hold. Oh, 1-out single, and Jurickson is the first base runner of the day for either team.
Well, having a little fun with his teammates as he got a little aggressive coming around first base. But this is the approach that you want to see from Rangers hitters today, especially the righties. You mentioned that the 87-mile-an-hour fastball was able to get by him a couple of times. You're not going to do that 3 times to Jurickson Profar as that throw came behind him from right field. But the idea of going the other way, right? Because when you see, again, stuff that's not overpowering, your eyes can light up a little bit. The idea of taking big hacks and trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, not an uncommon approach, but the smarter approach is what Jurickson just did right there. short to the ball, try to take him the other way, especially on those pitches away.
Andrews stepping in here, 6 homers, 32 RBIs, and he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Elvis 0 for 3 yesterday. In fact, it's been a tough homestand for Elvis. Just 1 for 16 on this homestand. All of his home runs, though, have happened in this ballpark. He sprays that one foul. It's 1-2. Profar leaning a little bit over there at first base. And the pitch is downstairs, 2-2. Jurickson can run a little bit, has 10 steals this year, and has not been caught. Blanc looking at him with a 2-2 pitch. Bouncer through the vacant right side of the infield. And Profar's going to have to slam on the brakes and also back. And they got him. The return throw is Profar took too big a turn. And an out on the bases. A little bit of a disappointment here.
That's the second time already here in the bottom of the first inning in which the Seattle Mariners are thrown behind Jurickson Profar. And you see the frustration there. He's standing out there because he's wondering if potentially he got that left hand back in time. Nice job right here by Elvis Andrus. The base hit to the right side. It was open, but you see how shallow that base hit was, and the question becomes whether or not did he actually get that left hand in there. The Rangers did not see enough on the replay to challenge it. So some over aggressive base running by Jurickson Profar cost the Rangers an out.
So Adrian Beltre will bat with 2 away in the inning. And Elvis, the man at first. LeBlanc pours one right in there for strike 1.
Try the swim move. That's close.
That was very close. Well, Beltre 1 for 3 yesterday. Had a season high 5 RBIs on Friday. But is in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes here. "14 homers, and 7 of them have been this month, so he is finishing the season very strong." 0-2. Beltre 2 for 7 in his career against LeBlanc. LeBlanc taking a nice long look in here. Way inside, 2-2. Well, as you know, Adrian Beltre, the active leader with 3,162 career hits. Past George Brett about a week or so ago in San Diego. 15th on the all-time list. Most ever by a primary third baseman. He takes in, it's a full count. And next on the list for Beltre is Cal Ripken Jr. There's still 8 games to play this year, including this one this afternoon. Colin Lajoie, 13th. Certainly out of consideration for this year. The 3-2 on it goes, and that one fouled away.
And there's also been some talk about Adrian getting a day or 2 off, as Don Wakamatsu mentioned in yesterday's meeting. When the Rangers get on the road, it's a 3-game series in Los Angeles against the Angels and then 4 against the Mariners. He's been dealing with that hip pointer, and you could see it affecting him a little bit yesterday. So the idea of Adrian passing Cal Ripken, pretty tough to do this year anyway, but likely not to play very many of the games on the road.
High pop-up heads foul again, and that one will end up in the seats, and that's a good baseball to grab if you have that opportunity today in the stands. Anything Adrian Beltre worth keeping, and that young lady has herself a very special souvenir.
Well, she did. I think she's getting an explanation. What do you think? Adrian Beltre hit this.
I think
So
so.
don't know what's going to happen. Do not throw this on the field. Do not play with it with the dog when we get home.
Swing and a miss, and Adrian strikes out. The inning is done. So the Rangers leave a man. We've played one scoreless inning so far this afternoon. Doing random acts of helpfulness at Rangers home games, like handing out cooling towels and sunscreen and the like. Be sure to follow them at AT TEX Honda Dealers on Twitter. I suppose Instagram as well. I don't know where
Probably.
else the @ works.
I was just thinking there was a couple of games this year we could use that crew up here. Cooling off the broadcast booth.
Well, Ryan Healy will lead things off this inning for Seattle. Healy, Kyle Seager, and Cameron Maben. And Martin Perez gets right in there with a strike. It's 1-1. It was a 9-pitch first inning for Martin. Really did a nice job.
Well, he joked about throwing 2 complete games in these 2 starts that he's going to get. Managing pitch count will be important for Martin Perez. He wants this in the worst way. Listen, the Rangers are pulling for him. They weren't happy to have to take him out of the rotation by any means, and that little bit of a break in the bullpen, maybe see a little different version of Martin.
He's always handled himself well out there defensively. Knocks down the Healy bouncer, and there's one away. Now our Kubota power stats for Martin Perez. Look at what he has done against the Seattle Mariners. And his last 9 starts has a 4-2 record, an ERA just a smidge over 3. And in 8 of the 9 starts, 3 or fewer runs allowed. So he's been very consistently good against Seattle. I hope that continues today. 4 up, 4 down so far. Kyle Seager takes a strike.
Pretty much a month for Martin that he was out of the rotation. His last start was on August 25th, and so here we are, September 23rd. Who knows? Maybe that little bit of a mental break. Not that Martin ever took for granted his position on this team. He's always been a hard worker, and he's got a good track record here. Just things were not going his way, but there's something about getting that little bit of a mental break sometimes, or missing out on what you want to be doing the most, losing that spot in the rotation. Not that I think he could have gotten any hungrier, but just maybe a little bit more locked in. So far, he looks pretty sharp here.
I think the point you make that the Rangers are certainly rooting for him is a good one. I mean, when they took him out of the rotation, there were a lot of different things I'm sure they were looking at and trying to accomplish. And whatever it is, and however it plays itself out, if now by virtue of getting back in the rotation he goes at things a little bit differently or finds success in a slightly different way, they would be thrilled to death. When he was taken out of the rotation, and his last start was on August 25th, talked to a handful of scouts since then for other ball clubs who were jumping in with a lot of questions, like wait a minute, we think there's a lot here. 1-2 pitch and a bouncing ball right side of the infield, and an easy play for Elvis Andrus. 2 away.
Well, I think part of that is probably how well Martin threw out of the bullpen. Now, this was kind of fascinating. Now, it was 14 plate appearances that he got against lefties when he was in the bullpen. Not a single one of them got a hit. 4 strikeouts against those 14 that he faced. Didn't walk any either. And the left-handed batters that he faced as a starter, we saw a pretty high batting average against Martin. So when you start seeing him throw the ball really well the way that he did out of the pen, no doubt he's only 27 years old. And that's the thing, is that the reality is that he should be hitting his prime right about now. And how many left-handers develop a little bit later in their career? Not that Martin hasn't already developed. He's done some really good things in the big leagues as a starting pitcher, but it doesn't surprise me at all that other scouts are looking and watching and saying, oh, but wait a minute, velocity's still there, stuff's still good.
Well, a hard blast down to third. Beltre with the great reactions again, and he takes care of Cameron Maben. And it's another 1-2-3 for Martin Perez. Yeah, think about it, old fella. Nicely done. We played 1.5, no score.
As we take a look at the Mariners defense, which is sponsored by Jack in the Box. It's Maben, Heredia, Negron in the outfield, and in the infield it's Kyle Seager, Gene Segura, Robinson Cano, Ryan Healy, and David Freitas.
Well, Mazzara starting things off here in the second inning. Spoils the first offering from LeBlanc. It'll be Mazzara, Chirinos, and Guzman. And it is 1-1. So LeBlanc mentioned earlier that this is his 26th start of the season. And that is now a career high in starts for him. Ball and 2 strikes now on Nomar.
He's got to get one more homer, right? He's going to go
Mazzara?
The same amount of home runs.
I mean, it's cool, right? There's part of me that says, no, stay at 20.
Yeah.
Go 3 straight years, your first 3 years in the big leagues, 20, 20, 20. But the other part of me says, no, get another one, or several more for that matter, as he strikes out here. 1 away in the second. And let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, progressive fan of the Game Time, and the Bridges family came all the way from
Anchorage, Alaska.
Anchorage, Alaska to watch the Rangers play today. Are you? What are your odds or your thoughts about it being Adrian Beltre's possible last game?
It's going to be tough. I'm going to tear up even thinking about it. Don't make it happen.
I don't want you to cry. Here's a progressive fan of the game bag instead, guys. We'll send it back up to you.
I like the reaction, man. I get it.
Yeah, that's got to be some kind of record, right? At least for traveling from the United States.
Take care. Bye.
We've had plenty of international visitors here at Globe Life Park, but
good day, mate. Go Rangers! This one popped up. Foul ground, and Healy is there. 2 away. Yeah, that's a long trip. You ever been to Alaska?
I have not.
I'd like to do that.
I think I'm in the 40s with states visited, but no Hawaii, no Alaska yet for me.
Well, neither of those.
No. Nope.
What else not on that?
Got to get
North
Montana.
Dakota.
Yeah, I got to get up there.
Yeah.
North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. Got some work to do.
2 outs now, and Guzman stands in. He takes one very high. Ronald getting the start today. 15 home runs, 56 RBIs. A really good rookie season for him. And this one lifted out into short right field, and a long back pedal out there for Cano. The inning is over. We played 2 score-free innings so far. No hidden fees. That's transparency. And by the new Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale. 2 innings down, and as we start the 3rd inning, Martin Perez aggressively after Christopher Negron there with strike 1. Negron batting 7th this afternoon. He's had limited time so far this year with the Mariners. Up and in, 1-1 the count. Negron was a trade acquisition for the Mariners from the Arizona Diamondbacks right at the end of August. Played in just a couple of games with the Diamondbacks earlier this year, and he's in a hole here, a ball and 2 strikes. Now in his big league career, it spanned 5 seasons. He's had a little bit of time with Arizona, some with the Reds, and now a handful of games with the Mariners. And a bouncer right by the mound up the middle. What a pick by Andrus to throw a little high. Wow, what a stop, though. I can't believe that one ended up in his glove. It'll be a base hit for Negron.
Well, what an effort by Elvis Andrus to try to get to this ball up the middle. It seemed like a sure hit off the bat. And the fact that he even made this a play is incredible. You see just out of the reach of Martin Perez, Elvis is there, spins and throws, and even if that throw was on the money, I'm not sure they would have had him. And this is just a great effort. You see that perfect exchange and throw just a little bit high. And the reason it's high because we've seen Elvis do this where he wisely throws the shorter hop because it's a safer throw and you give your first baseman a better chance to catch it. But he knew had he thrown that with the long hop that that throw would have been too slow. He had to get it in the air to give himself a chance. And so we got a little bit aggressive and ended up throwing it over Ronald Guzman's head. But man, what an effort.
So now Perez, who has allowed his first base runner, needs to get that ground ball double play from Heredia. Instead, Heredia sends it down the right field line in the air, and that one is a fair ball and into the corner. Negron, pretty good base runner, headed to the plate. Here comes a relay throw, and it is way offline, and into third base goes Heredia. It's 1-0 Seattle.
Well, Heredia came out swinging here against Martin Perez, and we'll take a look at this ball that is hit down the right field line, just kind of slicing away from Nomar Mazara and deep. No chance to get to it. Of course, you got to be very careful playing it off that corner wall. But watch Jurickson profile here. He does a nice job of scooping that low throw, but then just absolutely sails his throw over everybody, which allows Heredia to go over to third.
So the first run of the game is in. Now the 9th place hitter for Seattle, and spoiled foul over to the right side out of play. Freitas trying to drive in another run, and the infield all up on the edge of the grass. Up Beltre maybe a step or so deeper at third.
He does that with the right-handed hitter up just to give him a little bit more range if possible on any ground ball that's hit to his side. Freitas had no idea where that ball was. You see his reaction? I mean, that was a good 15-20 rows deep. He wasn't sure and started running. His bat went flying as well. See the pitch here. Watch his bat. That ended up slippery bat day. Then he's like, where's the ball? Where's my bat? Where's the ball?
What time is it?
It's like one of those nightmares you have where you're just panicking. No idea what's going on.
A lot going on right there. We've all been there in certain situations. Not at the plate in a big league game, but that was definitely a moment of panic for Freitas.
That might show up in kangaroo court.
On the 0-2, and that one's inside. Freitas, in a game these two teams played back in April, almost hit his first big league home run, except that Delino went up and took it away. One of those memorable, really good plays by DeShields this year. Bouncer, third base, wall on the left side of the infield, and it's smothered by Andrews. Elvis with another great defensive effort, throws out Freitas. The runner stays at third, and there's one out.
How about the range that Elvis Andrews is showing so far this afternoon? We saw the great effort on the ball up the middle. We saw the nice barehanded play earlier, and now this one pretty much catches this ball behind him. Has plenty of time to make the throw, but just incredible to see. Thought for sure this was another base hit into the outfield off the bat. Elvis had other plans, and he's doing a really nice job of giving Martin Perez some tremendous defensive support so far this afternoon.
Segura now, and that one a little bit in on him. Segura 0 for 1, flat out to right field. Again, the infield has to stay up on the edge. 1-1.
Almost seemed like Segura's top hand came off the bat on that swing. Somebody replace that glue stick with a stick of margarine or something? What's going on?
Can't believe it's not butter. One. Popped up. Oh, this is going to keep the run at third. Elvis out of the grass in left field, 2 away. All right, gives us a moment now as Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. Brewers have been one of the fun stories, although a quieter story in baseball this year. I think that'll be interesting if they start really making some headway in the postseason. And by the way, that division's not done. I mean, they can't concede that to the Cubs yet. First pitch to Cano is taken downstairs.
2.5 back coming into today were the Milwaukee Brewers. You're right. I think if they were leading the division this late, it might have been a little bit of a bigger story. They're a really good team. They have legitimate MVP candidates in Christian Yelich and Lorenzo Cain, 2 of their acquisitions from this offseason. If they were leading and the Cubs were in second place, I think, yeah, we'd be hearing about it maybe a little bit more.
Ball and 2 strikes on Robinson Cano. An infield hit, and I assume it was a double to right field and advancing on the throw. Heredia now at third base, so run is in, but a ground out by Freitas, a pop up by Segura, and Martin Perez almost out of trouble in this 3rd inning. Cano bounces it right side of the infield. That's playable for Profar, and it does end the inning, and the Mariners do get a run, but that's a pretty good Houdini act by Perez. 1.5, or rather 2.5 innings in, Mariners lead 1-0. Well, day baseball today as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Ryan Rua will lead things off in this 3rd inning. Rua, Carlos Tocci, and Shin-Soo Choo. Final home game of the year for the Rangers. See Rua's numbers this season. Inconsistent playing time. And up and down between AAA and the big leagues often this year.
At least 5 times, right? If not more, for Ryan Rua. Very difficult to kind of catch that groove. I thought he had some bad luck early on. A lot of hard contact that was not resulting in hits. And there's a lot going on with the depth of the Rangers this year, which has cost him some at-bats.
Singles into center field to start the 3rd inning. Yeah, up and down 5 times, on the disabled list twice. So he would just come and go, it seemed like, with great frequency.
Good job by Ryan here. Mentioned how with Wade LeBlanc you're going to get a lot of off speed, a lot of slower pitches because he doesn't throw particularly hard and middle away. You got to be ready for those. And the idea of going the opposite way, staying in the middle of the field is a really good approach against Wade LeBlanc. Nice job by Rua.
And now Carlos Tocci will take a strike. Tocci has been on the roster all year, missed his stretch on the disabled list, but a Rule 5 acquisition this last offseason, and he had to stay on the 25-man roster all year. And he hits this one over third, but foul. But we have seen him play some pretty good defense in center field. He's very smooth out there, covers ground well. The bat maybe not quite as advanced as the defensive abilities yet, but the Rangers intrigued enough by what they have seen out of him to keep him all year on the roster, and a year where wins and losses we knew were not going to be in the right balance for this team. And so they figured it was worth it to keep Tocci and add some depth to the system. The 0-2.
That's right, because he just turned 23 years old, right? So they've seen some things that they like. You mentioned the defense. Certainly has done a nice job out there. We didn't get to see him run very much. That was one of the things I thought we were going to see. No stolen bases on the year, but again, just 23 years old. And after this year now, the Rangers will have flexibility where they can option him up and down over the next 3 years if they'd like to. So I think certainly providing depth and getting that first year in the big leagues.
He hooks this one into left field. That's a base hit. Back-to-back singles to begin this 3rd.
For like so many other young players in this organization, finishing the season strong is really important. Here's a pretty good changeup from Wade LeBlanc that is down below the zone, and Carlos Tocci goes down and gets it, lines it into left field. And the bottom of the order, just in the way that the Mariners did it in the top of the third, starting a rally here in the bottom of the third for the Texas Rangers. It's amazing. Carlos Tocci, the overall numbers maybe not where he wanted them to be this year. But even for Wade LeBlanc, he only threw him one fastball. Came out fastball, breaking ball, changeup, changeup. That is the name of his game. He's not going to change regardless of the hitter or where he is in the order.
Chu takes one down the middle for a strike. Ground out in the first inning. And for Chu, it's been a while for the power stroke. 21 home runs this year, 62 RBIs. Boy, he gets on hot stretches with a home run bat, and then he can cool off a little bit in that regard as well.
Yeah, I think we thought it was going to be a given with Chu that we would see a career high in home runs. He's one shy of tying that 22 home run mark, which he did 3 times. He did it last year. He did it also in 2015 and 2010. Second year in which he has had 21 home runs, in 13 and 18. So there's been consistency there. He also had a 20 home run season in 2009. But we've seen so many guys setting career highs in home runs. I think we just kind of assumed that Chu would do the same, and there's certainly some time to do that.
Strikes out here for the first out of the innings. That's just one home run now in the last 40 games. All right. Well, the final season here at Globe Life Park, really right around the corner. 2019 full and half season tickets are on sale now. And as a season ticket holder, you'll secure your place in line for season tickets in the new Globe Life Field, which opens in 2020. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com/seasons or call 972 Rangers.
Got to get on it. There are some great series next year. The Rangers open up with the Cubs. That'll be a fun one. And here's the thing, too.
Fly ball, short right field. Negron coming in, Cano going out, and it is Cano.
So you have the Cubs that open up. Cubs travel, well, right, they're fans, Cub fans, and Ranger fans. It's going to be up to you to make sure that Cub fans don't take over the last opening series here at Globe Life Park. And then to finish out the season, you run into that same situation. The Red Sox travel really well, and so do the Yankees as far as bringing out fans on the road. And so that's that final homestand. You see it there from September 24th to 29th. So you'll have another obligation. First of all, just because you want to see the ballpark close. I'm sure that's going to be fantastic. No word yet on what the Rangers have planned, but you've seen it consistently throughout the league. The great job that all these teams do when they close down their ballparks. And if you've been a Ranger fan and you've got a lot of memories in this ballpark, you're going to want to be here for that last homestand. Keep those Red Sox and Yankee fans out.
Well, Elvis had the base hit back in the first. Trying to get the Rangers on the board here. Couple of base runners out there for him at the moment. Whoa. One came way in and just got a piece of him, so the bases are loaded.
Now batting, the third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
The resonant voice of Chuck Morgan bringing Adrian Beltre to bat here in the third inning. Bases loaded, 2 out.
Do you know how many grand slams Adrian Beltre has in his career?
In his career,
10. 10 grand slams. He's a career .279 hitter with the bases loaded. Nope.
oh, you sure?
What am I looking at?
I got 305. It's a 1-0. And that'll even the count at a ball and a strike.
What am I looking at? I got 279 career. Oh boy, a little stats boxing match. Those are my favorites. Let's see what I did wrong here. I don't think anything.
Rua, Tochi, Andrews on the bases from third to first. Swing and a miss. His last Grand Slam was in August of 2016. He came against Oakland. The 1-2. And strike three called. He leaves the bases loaded here in the third. And he has a word for David Rackley after that strike three call. Well, the inning is done. Rangers lead 3 out there. We'll go to the fourth. Mariners on top 1-0. Grab a selfie here before we begin the fourth inning. Martin Perez been pretty good so far. We'll get the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Seattle. And that one just misses the outside corner to Nelson Cruz. Cruz flied out. That was in the first inning. Two 2-0. Not a guy you want to fall behind. Cruz continues to be one of the greater power threats in the American League. 35 or more home runs now in each of the last 5 seasons. How's that one back? And it's 2-2. Cruz this year among the American League leaders in home runs. His 36 homers are 6th in the league. He's 9th with his 92 RBIs. His slugging percentage 8th best in the American League. Stays 2-2.
Took a pretty good hack against Martin Perez in his first at bat. A ball that Carlos Tochi was able to catch on the track. A comfortable swing too, right? That's the thing that you keep an eye on when you're facing a guy that has had some success against you and trying to figure out ways. How can I get him uncomfortable? How can I get him off balance?
This ball on the ground, right to Profar. And there's one away. Well, you can take your Rangers fandom to the next level by owning a piece of the game. Check it out. See how you can get everything from game-used baseballs to bases and, of course, plenty of autographed memorabilia as well. Go to TexasRangers.com/authentics. A lot of great stuff. Might get something from today's game. Andrews and Beltre both playing the final home game of this season. And Healy takes a strike here in the fourth inning. Healy was retired on the comebacker in the second inning, 0 for 1. And Martin Perez, we talked to Don Wakamatsu before the ball game today, and the interim skipper said, well, I'm not going to push him 85, 90 pitches or anything like that. And so we're going to look at him as a starter here, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on things and let us know a little bit too how he's feeling. But I would not expect him to go real deep into the game, but he has been efficient. And he gets a strikeout of Healy, his first punch out of the day. There are 2 gone.
We mentioned it earlier. We know Martin Perez has wanted to get back into the rotation, and so he's been hungry for it. Great execution of the changeup. There's a good look at the grip as this thing fades away and fades down a little bit against Ryan Healy. And I think mentally right now we're seeing a really good version of Martin Perez when we have seen him on. We've seen him locked in like this, and so far so good through 3 2/3.
That's 6 swings and misses so far now for Martin Perez. Kyle Seager, the hitter, and he comes up empty. A little more on Martin. Check in with Emily.
Yeah, and I asked Don Wakamatsu if he thought Martin coming out of the bullpen limited his thinking as far as just overthinking too much, which he's been guilty of over the course of his career. And he said absolutely. And so what they want him to do, as you guys mentioned, they just want him to take that bullpen mentality into the starting rotation to where he isn't overanalyzing things. He isn't overthinking things and really simplifying the mental approach of the game, because he's got the physical tools to be a successful and a strong member of this rotation or another one.
I think that's the thing that scares you a little bit, right? Is that the idea of Martin Perez kind of rediscovering himself, and there's still plenty of time within his career to do that, but doing it in a different uniform, right? The guy that you've developed and brought through your system. And it's a tough spot to be in right now if you're running this club and the idea of the decisions that you have to make. And as we see this good version of Martin Perez so far, you certainly don't want to see him doing it anywhere else. But that possibility is a real one that is out there. That's always, I think, something that has been said when you're running a ball club, kind of not your worst fear, but just one of those things you hate to ever see happen, right? Which is, you feel like, all right, maybe it's time to move on from a guy, and then he goes and he just crushes it with somebody else. I remember talking to JD years ago on the radio, I say years ago, 3 or 4 years ago on the radio, when he brought that up, and he was talking about Chris Davis and who he became with the Baltimore Orioles. He's like, I feel like every time I turn on the TV, he's hitting 2 home runs a night.
This ball lined out to second and caught out there by Profar. Positioned well in short right field. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Martin Perez. Martin getting some great help defensively this afternoon. Now we'll see if the offense can step up as well. Mazzara leads it off when we come back. 7th inning in New York. And the Yankees clinched their wild card with this walk-off winner against the Orioles. Celebration in the Bronx. Meanwhile, the Oakland A's, they walked off as well in a little more bizarre fashion at home. And that one against the Twins, and their magic number now in Oakland is 1. So today they could wrap up their wild card berth.
And the clubs that we expect to see facing each other very likely in that American League wild card will be a fascinating one, to say the least. The Yankees, you're celebrating, you're happy, you know, you're going to be a wild card team, but at the same time, the expectations were a little bit higher this year.
Mazzara bounces one down to first for a quiet first out here in the 4th inning. Brings up Robinson Chirinos. So Robinson Chirinos' take on the Mariners today, brought to you by AARP. And Robbie, against the Mariners this season, a .300 average, a couple of doubles. He's driven in 6. He's done a nice job. Popped up his first time in today, so 0 for 1. This is the rubber game in this series. Rangers won the opener, a rain-shortened game Friday night. We were washed out in the 7th inning. It ended up being an 8-3 final score. And then yesterday, boy, all Mariners, 13-0 the final score. Chirinos lines that one right down to Seager at third base. There are 2 gone. So it'll bring up Ronald Guzman. But first, we have a moment to check in with the folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
Guzman takes a strike here. Ronald popped up in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. Rangers with 4 hits. And they had the bases loaded last inning. But haven't been able to break through yet.
Part of this, too, with Wade LeBlanc, we saw him almost be somewhat of a savior for this rotation in Seattle, and really stepped up, and it's kind of a nice surprise. And we saw some struggles. But this month in particular, he's been throwing the ball really well. He's made 3 starts in September. Hasn't won a game, but he had a 1.65 ERA over 16 1/3 coming into this one, and you can see why. It's almost as if he's kind of been locked back in as Wade LeBlanc.
A 2-1 pitch. He got Guzman way out in front there to even the count.
Good example of your eyes lighting up on a slower pitch. That curveball didn't have a A lot of late break to it. It was up in the zone, but at 72 miles an hour, Ronald Guzman caught himself out front.
This one off into the bat and by third base, a base hit. Guzman takes a wide turn around first, but wisely he heads back, take the 2-out single.
Take a look at the replay here on the fastball. After the slower breaking ball, I think Wade LeBlanc thought maybe he could get one by Guzman, and he was a little bit late, but lots of room on the left side. And a wise choice, too, by Ronald Guzman not to try to turn this into a double, even though with 2 outs, sometimes you'd be a little bit aggressive trying to take second base. I don't think he had any chance of making it.
So Rua fouls off the first pitch. Nice job to keep the inning going. Singled last inning to lead off the third, and was eventually left at third base. Well, they wanted it in. They got it in, but too far. On a strike on Ryan. A couple of guys today, Rua and the man waiting on deck, Carlos Tocci, getting a start today, and those have been hard to come by for those two. 1-2 the count. Carlos, both of them, Rua and Tocci, with hits in the early going here today. After this one, we'll be hitting the road to wrap up the 2018 season. 3 games beginning tomorrow night in Anaheim, and then 4 games Thursday through next Sunday in Seattle. Again, a little bit tight, 2-2. There it is, the remainder of the 2018 season. Hard to believe. The season ends a week from today. A full count now on Rua. Ryan does have 6 home runs this season. Runner goes. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's another strikeout. 5th of the afternoon for Wade LeBlanc. Well, we have played 4 so far. The Mariners with the 1-0 lead. The scoreboard here today honoring John Blake and Chuck Morgan for their 40 years in baseball. But meanwhile, here are who's in, who's out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. The man who is in, that's the guy, Jeffrey Springs. The man who is out, Martin Perez, who gave 4 really good innings today.
Yeah, he certainly did. And for Martin, he's got to be thrilled with how today went. I'm sure he probably wanted to go a little bit deeper. As you take a look at the numbers here for Jeffrey Springs, 14 games, 3.5 ERA, and that 23 strikeout to 11 walk ratio for him. He's done a very nice job here for the Rangers, and even that ERA, and it's a smaller sample size at 25 1/3 innings. Really, he had that one game in San Diego where he allowed those 4 runs, but other than that, it's been a really good run here so far for Jeffrey Springs. He's made a very nice impression in a Ranger uniform as the rookie.
No, he pumps in his first pitch for a strike to Cameron Maben. Maben grounded out in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. And a little pop-up. Right side of the infield. Profar has been busy. And he puts it away, 1 out. Now that was really cool. The moment they just had here during the break, honoring Chuck Morgan. There's Chuck. 40 years. And the great John Blake, man. I'll tell you what, there's not a person in baseball who doesn't know John Blake.
That's right. Every time I say that, I might say, oh, do you know John? Oh, yeah, of course I know John Blake. We've talked about, things here, whatever it may be. You're absolutely right. It's a long time in this game, man.
Pro's pro. He is the best. Negron takes a strike. The count 1-1.
Both of those guys, they got some encyclopedia to them. Walking encyclopedias in this game.
John was great because the whole thing was orchestrated yesterday as a surprise. And his response was, I don't like surprises.
Yeah, he's pretty dead serious about that too. It never really broke from that stance. But it was a really nice moment, and you've heard me talk about this a lot with the Rangers, and their focus on people is something that's at the center of this organization, and yesterday was a really good example of that. They care about the people in this organization, whether you're a guy that puts on the uniform or somebody that works in the front office or helping out the organization, whatever role that you may be in. He's a fantastic human being right there, Chuck Morgan.
There's a swing and a miss by Negron, 2 away. Right, and the other one down there yesterday helping celebrate was Emily Jones.
Yeah, it's such a cool moment for both of those guys, and two very different personalities as far as how they handled it. You know, John being very much a man of few words, and then Chuck really able to speak to how much it meant to him to have that clubhouse and all the people in that room, and the players captivated. Their attention was captivated in the stories that John Daniels was telling about each of those guys individually. To have Adrian Beltre speak, and you know, it touched those guys. John won't admit it, but Chuck Morgan definitely did. That, you know, just to have that moment in that room with those people was really a special moment, and I know it was for John too. And it's been neat to see, you know, the players kind of take note of what other people in this organization do, and really kudos to John Daniels and to Ray Davis, to Angie Swint and Krista Reicher, who really did pull off the ultimate coup as far as being able to pull one over on those two.
Well, because part of it is you cannot do anything in this ballpark without Chuck being a part of it or knowing, and same with John. John's involved in everything.
Yeah, it really was the ultimate coup to have that together. I mean, we all did a champagne toast afterward. It was really a neat moment, and especially that setting, to have it done in the clubhouse really does speak to the, you know, the level of respect that this organization has for those two guys, and just how instrumental they are in the day-to-day operations of this baseball club, and how important they are to our fan base, even though people may not know John as much as they do Chuck, but such a big part of what goes on that you see on TV, on the field, here at the ballpark. Those two guys have a huge hand in.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about as far as doing that in the clubhouse. It is a sacred space, but certainly for John Daniels, understands the importance for something like that to happen in front of the roster, not just the people in the front office or all of us that work with John and Chuck, but those guys in uniform as well, and that coaching staff. And these are guys that do a lot for them as well. And top secret was that yesterday. The three of us, me, you, and Emily, were told, got something going on. Didn't tell us what it was. I thought we were all in trouble.
Of course you did.
They were like, principal's office, 4:30. Don't ask why. No questions.
Runner goes, pitches up and away. Throw down a second, a good one. And they did not get Heredia. He just got around it, his second stolen base of the year.
It looked like Robinson Trinos was going to have a shot at Heredia here. Don't think the tag was made as Trinos is looking in. The Rangers want to take a look at this to see if they want to challenge. At first look live, I'm not sure if we saw contact here on the tag. Let's see.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you think he got him on the top?
That one might be worth looking at.
Let's see here. I thought that maybe Profar was unable to get the tag down. Not his fault, just that Heredia was past him at that point.
Tag got him. Oh, no, maybe it did not. You're right.
That's one of those weird ones, too, where you look where Jurickson Profar caught that ball. The throw was in the air, but he caught that ball in front of the back. And I know he doesn't play a ton of second base. But that's one of those issues. I always talk to infield coaches, ask them about that, and even big leaguers have a hard time with this. All right, look where he is. Now, the throw took him a little bit to the left, too, and so that's part of it. But you want to try to hold that bag as long as possible, because catching the ball and going back to tag a guy takes a lot longer than catching the ball at the bag. Then the ball, your tag is not going to get there faster than the throw is. I guess that's a better way to put it.
2-1. The count.
That's a strike.
Yeah, that was a great pitch.
You know why the Mariners dugout didn't like that is because that cut a little bit, and Robinson Trinos was unable to hold it in the zone. But that ball absolutely was a strike, and you see Scott Service there because what he saw was Robinson Trinos' glove. And the heaviness of that fastball took the glove out of the zone.
Fouled away. It's 2-2. Boy, once again, Chirinos taking a foul ball. And so David Rackley, our plate umpire, walks the baseball out there to Jeffrey Springs just to buy a little time, let Chirinos get everything straight there. Oh, it bugs me every time I see it. Two balls, two strikes. Heredia out there at second. Pitch to Freitas. And this one in the air, hanging up a little while. Tocci with a chance to make a long run and get to it, and he does! Another nice play by Carlos Tocci, who shows that range and the great read off the bat.
A great closing speed here by Carlos Tocci. He had a great read on this ball, but was able to finish it off and haul it in and save the Rangers a run from scoring.
Final opening day here at Globe Life Park, already set next year. Cubs, Rangers, 2019. Become a 2019 season ticket holder today. You'll guarantee your opening day tickets and get yourself in line for season tickets in the new ballpark as well. Full and half season ticket plans available now. TexasRangers.com/seasons. Tocci made a great play defensively just a moment ago in the top of the fifth inning, and so by rule, he's then obligated to hit first when the team comes to bat. So here he is. First pitch to him, and he takes a strike from LeBlanc.
It would be a fun rule.
That would be awesome.
Throw it in there. Or what if it was just that each hitter on your team was allowed to have an X amount of plate appearances per game? Let's just say it's 4. But you get to pick. You hit them whenever you want.
So I've heard versions of this
It'd be a fun game,
proposed.
No.
That you get, as an example, one called at bat in a game. Right?
Yeah.
Each team would get it, and so you could use it anytime you want. First inning. This ball lined into left field. That's a base hit. Tocci is 2 for 2. Tocci, in fact, I think it's probably worth pointing out, 11 hits now in his last 28 at bats. That's pretty good.
Certainly is, as he does a nice job here on this pitch away, goes out and hooks it to left field. I mentioned how important it is for guys like Carlos Tocci to finish the season strongly. The Rangers front office and coaching staff with a really good impression. He just made a nice defensive play and a couple of hits so far. Good job by Carlos Tocci. I mean, it's totally preposterous and absurd, but it would be fun.
No.
I don't mean just the one at bat. I've heard that one before, the 9th inning or whatever it may be, or extra innings.
Liner up the middle. And that one taken on a hop. Step on the back for 1. Oh, and Seager with the good return to first in time for a double play. 6 unassisted to 3. Twin kill.
The upside to that is that it would completely kill the opener. I had to put that whole thing to bed. How are you going to do it? You don't even know who you're facing. You guys say we're going to throw an opener, and we're going to give you a bottom hitters. In the next inning, when you go to get your actual pitcher, then.
Oh, you're talking about throwing your guys out there whenever you want?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
The entire game, have fun with that. You get 4 plate appearances. That's it. Use them whenever you want. Guy hits a home run, hit again.
And so they go extra innings, and maybe you get. What happens? Extra innings, you get to add 1 or something?
Sure.
A couple.
Hit a bomb, okay, you get to hit again. How great would that be?
Cross home plate, pick up your bat, step back in there.
Keep going. Take all 4 of your plate appearances in the first inning.
1-0 pitch to Profar. And there's a strike, 1-1. What about this? You get your plate appearances based on contributions defensively. So, you know, if you're in center field and you make a play, as you just simply catch a ball, okay, you're getting it back. This one out to right field, hanging up a little bit. Long run out there for Negron, and he'll reel that one in. Boy, we've seen some great defense on both sides this afternoon. The Rangers got a leadoff hit, but a good defensive play by Segura. And this robbery by Christopher Negron. And it's a 7-pitch inning. We go to the 6th. We're playing a video here saluting the great Adrian Beltre, Rougned Odor, and teammates. Now meeting him at third. It's hard to watch.
It is, and you can only hope that it's not the last time that you see Adrian Beltre in a Rangers uniform here at Globe Life Park, but just in case the Rangers wanted to give him this moment, and deservedly so, and for the fans here to see that moment as well, as you see Steve Buechele giving Adrian that big hug, and so many Rangers as loved as a teammate as there is in the game is Adrian Beltre.
Chu looked a little emotional when Beltre came down the steps, first man to greet him in the dugout. Bouncer on the left side of the infield, and Andrews throws out Gene Segura to begin the 6th inning. And defensively, Profar goes to third base. Odor checks in the game at second, and there it is. Adrian Beltre, a lot of handshakes, a lot of hugs.
Well, we don't know, right? And we don't pretend to know. You see a moment like that and you can't help but wonder if Adrian knows a little bit, or if his teammates know. It's tough. And we know that Adrian is not one for the theatrics, which makes you think, is this the way that he kind of would want to do it? We, again, only speculation. We don't know.
Yeah, the killer there is, there are a lot of things, but not the least of which was he would be due up second in the bottom of this inning. I sure would have enjoyed seeing one more at bat. Springs fires one off the plate, 1-1 to Robinson Cano. He has not made that decision yet, or at least not made the announcement yet. Emily, you know Adrian very well, and again, not our job to speculate yet. He'll let us know when that time is right.
Yeah, for sure. And we've talked at length over the last, couple of weeks, and I feel like because that's the questions have been asked over the last couple of weeks, especially. And the latest conversation that we had, he said, "Look, I'm going to take every single thing into consideration." The first thing, of course, that comes up is his family and the fact that he's played this game for 20 years and he's missed a lot of things, and his kids are getting older. His oldest daughter, Cassie, is now in high school. AJ is in 7th grade. And then Camila, of course, is getting older. She's in elementary school, but he's played this game for such a long time. And I think what sticks out to me is how he's expressed a level of contentment and a reflection on these accomplishments and how they are more than he ever could have imagined in this game, and that he's almost at this peaceful place to where if he is to walk away from it, he would leave nothing on the table. And so I think just his allusion to that and his referencing of that and all of the things as they stand right now, I just feel like this is his final walkthrough, because I think if he comes back next year, he knows there's going to be pomp and circumstance surrounding it everywhere he goes, and I think he's just at peace with moving on at this point in his life.
Yeah, and I think we've talked a little bit about the 7 home runs this month and a 14 homer season for him, and how strong he has looked and how well he has played in September of this season. And for fans, I think it's hard to understand. It's hard for all of us really to understand, but the amount of effort and work and energy that goes simply to get himself out on the field every day at this point. is the hard part. Playing the game is not the challenging part for him right now. It's just getting there every day. And there have been days on this homestand where we have had to wait to get the lineup. Not that that's any inconvenience to us. I'm just saying that they can't even make out the lineup until later in the day because they want to get him in there. He wanted to be in there on this homestand for everybody, but it's just a matter of getting himself there every day, and that's the hard part for him.
And he's referenced that in those conversations, that these last 2 seasons have been hard on him because he hasn't been healthy. He hasn't been able to be a consistent player, and that's above all else. He's wanted to be a good teammate and a consistent player, to know people, to know what they're going to get from him, and that's been a difficult thing for him to do simply because of his health. And so that's a huge player in it too. He wants to be a contributing factor to a team. He doesn't want to be some bit player that comes off the bench every couple of days. He wants to be a contributor.
He does that in so many ways that don't show up in a box score as well. As we all know, we've had opportunity aplenty over the years to talk about his greatness, not just as a player, but in the clubhouse. That is the look of a guy who may indeed have stepped off his home field here. And I think that's the other thing. At the end of his career, whenever that is, this is home for him. Right now he's like a pitcher with a no-hitter going. Two from Springs, and there's a swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets Cruz. 2 gone here in the 6th inning. And nobody wants to jinx it. I mean, what do you say?
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, right? As a teammate, you don't want to ask too many questions, but you're super curious and you love that guy so much, and you're honored to have shared a uniform with him. But then there's that level of respect and space that you also want to give your teammate.
A lot going through that mind right now, no doubt. Here's Healy. And he takes strike 1. 1-0 ball game. Mariners run came in the 3rd. It was Heredia with the RBI double. And it's a game today been marked. You know, pitchers have done their job. They've done a nice job. Everybody who's participated on that end, but the defenses on both sides have turned in a lot of sparklers today as well.
It's been a well-pitched game overall. Just 1 walk so far in this ball game. I mentioned the defense, and so the pitcher's keeping guys on their toes.
Fly ball, short center field. Out on it, Odor, and he will tuck it away. The inning is done. An inning, though, that will be remembered for this moment. Adrian Beltre and his best buddy. Who knows what's in that hug right there? One nothing Mariners. It's breaking my heart with him holding his glove like that.
No doubt, man. A lot of thoughts right now going through the mind of Adrian Beltre.
Andrus sends first pitch foul off to the right side, out of play. Well, this our TXU Energy power player to watch today. He has singled and been hit by a pitch. Well, 11 of his last 13 home runs have come here. All 6 of his home runs this season have occurred here at home. And he hooks this one over third base. That's a base hit down into that left field corner. Elvis heads to second. And he'll be in there easily. Cameron Maben just trying to coax that ball out of the corner. A leadoff double.
As much as I talked about the approach of maybe taking Wade LeBlanc to the opposite field, some of these righties, we've seen it from Tochi a couple of times now. Elvis Andrus as well, going out and hooking the ball to left field, staying out in front of those lower velocity pitches. It's a good job by Elvis Andrus. That 86-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball. I'll take that back. That was a changeup at 79 that Elvis hit. 18th double of the season.
So now a mound visit. Freitas and LeBlanc talking things over as Odor comes to the plate now. Rugi, who just came in the game replacing Adrian Beltre. And so his first at bat of the afternoon here. Well, LeBlanc's first offering off the plate.
And not surprising because it's not the power stuff or the power breaking ball. Just average numbers for Wade LeBlanc against lefties. .252 batting average, and 6 of the 23 home runs that he's allowed this season have been to left-handed hitters.
Rugi pops this one up first base side and not playable. Good effort by Ryan Healy. Well, Rangers have a man in scoring position to start the inning. They've been held scoreless for the last 16 innings in this series, but Odor smashes that one foul. 1-2 the count. So far today, the Rangers 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Odor takes downstairs, so maybe he'd be the guy to step in and turn that little trend around. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Odor has never had a hit off LeBlanc. Takes high, it's a full count. I feel like Rugi has shown a little more restraint on this homestand than, let's say, he was on the previous road trip, maybe even the previous homestand. He got into a little bit of a funk, but I feel like we're seeing some changes on this homestand. And he takes in, that is ball 4, so he is walked.
Well, back to where he was when he became successful again this year, right? That has been the conversation surrounding Rougned Odor patience, and he's done a great job of executing that plan, but there are going to be times, no doubt, he is an aggressive player where he may go through a funk where it's a little over-aggressive, chases some pitches out of the zone. That's a nice at-bat against the left-hander who throws a lot of strikes, get down in the count 1-2, and then come back and turn that plate appearance into a walk.
So he's on along with Elvis now, and a chance for Mazzara, who is 0 for 2. Mazzara just one hit now in his last 15 at bats. And he comes up empty on that one. Nomar with 74 RBIs this year, drove in 100 last year. He's going to fall short of that number here in 2018, but could still finish strong. For a young guy, he has been a tremendous run producer in these first 3 years of his big league career. 0-2 the count.
So I think what makes that walk even more impressive for Rougned Odor is that the Seattle Mariners have only walked 121 left-handed hitters all year. That is far and away the least in Major League Baseball. You see the Rangers have done a nice job with that as well. Third least, third fewest, whatever. However that works, I'm sure I'll get a tweet about it.
I hope so. Andrews and Odor. The 0-2. And he won't chase. Rangers left the bases loaded in the 3rd inning. They also stranded runners in the 1st and 4th innings.
So we've talked about how the shifts have hurt Nomar Mazzara, Joey Gallo this year. Well, Robinson Cano can't go deep into the outfield right now in this situation, 1st and 2nd, so maybe Nomar can take advantage.
Oh, he hits this ball hard to center field. Heredia going back. It's over his head. Andrews will score the tying run. Odor to the plate. And the Rangers take the lead. A two-run double by Nomar Mazara. And the Rangers are in front.
Well, there's a reason why Nomar Mazara has driven in so many runs 3 years now into his career, and it swings like this against left-handed pitching. You see his 24th double on the season, but look at the hanging breaking ball. Again, instead of trying to get too big and pull that ball, he drives it to left center field over the center fielder's head, gave it a run as it just short hopped the wall. He hits that ball about 400 feet. Elvis scores easily. Great base running by Rougned Odor. And a really nice inning here by the Rangers. Go back to that walk by Rougned Odor. The fact that he even got on after being down 1-2. And the Rangers do a great job of getting Wade LeBlanc out of the game as they take over the lead.
Well, that will do it for LeBlanc, who had been so good through the first 5 innings. The Rangers get to him here on top 2-1. Nick Vincent coming on. All that they had gone through this year and are postseason bound if they can
hold off those Rockies.
Finish things off. Yeah, I mean, the Rockies not far behind. Still have a shot.
That's 7 with 7 to play. You don't feel all that comfortable just yet.
Now Nick Vincent has come on here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, good strikeout to innings numbers there for Vincent. 54 punch outs in his 54 to 3rd innings. It's the fastball, cutter, curveball, and changeup. And for Nick Vincent, a fastball that you will see, not an overpowering one. It's averaging just 90 miles per hour so far this season.
Chirinos swings through that one to the count 0-2. A chance for Robbie to pick up an RBI here. Mazara out at second base. Double, walk, double to begin the 6th. And this one up the middle. That's a base hit. Mazara around third. Beasley waving him frantically. Here comes the throw. Not in time. Nomar gets a hand in there, and the Rangers lead 3-1. That was not a gimme.
No, it certainly was not. Good base running by Nomar Mazara. He needed every inch that he could possibly get. As we'll take a look first at the pitch here. Fastball, middle away. Good job by Robinson Chirinos to go right back up the middle. Get himself that base hit, but watch Nomar. And watch how close this is at home. Chirinos ultimately couldn't hold on to the ball. You're going to see it pop out. But Nomar was able to get the hand in there anyway. Look how close that play is, man. I mean, secondary leads are so important, and here's a good example as to why, as Nomar just barely gets ahead of that throw.
So now Guzman. Nice job by Nomar. He drives in 2. He scores 1 himself. Guzman takes a high strike. It's 1-1. So Nick Vincent allowing that run to score, that run charge to Wade LeBlanc.
So I mentioned this yesterday, even though he came in with a clean inning, it's just been a struggle for Nick Vincent. Now, listen, runner at second base and nobody out, it's a tough one. But inherited runners, well, 15 of the 26 have now scored against Nick Vincent this year. Well over 50%. League average is about 30% as far as what the average reliever allows with his inherited runners. And again, you get put into some difficult spots sometimes. You got guys in scoring position, nobody out. It's quite the challenge. But just overall, it's been a little bit of a struggle for Nick Vincent in that regard.
Guzman takes a little bit low. 2-2. Our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. Guzman with 56 RBIs this season, and among American League rookies, that has him 4th on the list. Tied with Joey Wendell. And this one by third base. That's a base hit. Second hit of the day for Guzman.
Well, not only the second hit of the day for Ronald Guzman, but the second time in which he goes the other way. One of those signs that we look for in young hitters, their ability to use the entire field against big league pitching can be a challenge. But Ronald Guzman right now so far in this game with a couple of base hits and a couple of base hits that go to left field. Same kind of location, up and away, and it wasn't intentional. But see how short the swing is? He knows he's got some room to play with on the left side and does a great job of slapping that thing into left field, almost identical as far as Kyle Seager, how far he was playing off the bag and how much room Ronald Guzman had to work with.
A couple of base runners, and Rua takes a little tight. 2 doubles, a walk, 2 singles in the inning for the Rangers. Rua had a base hit in the 3rd inning, struck out his last time out.
I could see a bunt here. Rangers are up, not the kind of they go for. Ryan Rua can run a little bit. He's a good athlete, kind of sneaky quick. Kyle Seager's playing back right now, so you can take that chance on the bunt for a hit. Worst case scenario, it turns into a sacrifice. Whenever you have a first and second situation and you're bunting, you always want to bunt to the third base side, try to get the third baseman to field the ball. But Ryan Rua not showing that so far.
2-1. Final game in this 3-game series. 2 clubs still have 4 games to play head-to-head in Seattle next weekend. This ball up the middle, that's a base hit. Into third base, but stopped there. Chirinos, so the bases are loaded. 3 straight singles following the 2-run double by Mazzara.
A good job by Ryan Rua now. 2 hits for him on the afternoon. We talked about the lack of playing time consistent at bats that he's gotten. So nice to see him come through here. And Scott Service is going to go to his bullpen. Another change.
So the 3rd pitcher of the inning will be coming on for the Seattle Mariners. Rangers building a bigger lead. James Pazos coming in.
Lead the Mariners by a score of 3-1, and that gives us an opportunity to get to our Southwest Airlines player breakdown. Carlos Tocci having himself a nice afternoon here at Globe Life Park. There is his 2nd single of the day. He's also done a really nice job in the field. Made a nice play here on this line shot. Also caught a ball that was deep to center field off the bat of Nelson Cruz. And so Carlos Tocci swinging a good bat. 14 for his last 43 now. And he gets an opportunity with the bases loaded and nobody out. Now he gets himself a tough lefty, and he's going to have to face in James Pazos. And Pazos, a guy that's got a good fastball, averages 94 miles an hour, knows how to generate those swings and misses. 42 strikeouts in 45 innings so far, 269 against lefties, but even better, 236 against righties. And so for Scott Service, he has no issue bringing in Pazos right here to face the righty Tocci.
Tocci enjoying a great afternoon so far. Mentioned earlier, 11 hits in his last 28 at bats now. It's a batting average of over 390. So he's found more success at the plate lately, and he fouls this one away for strike 1.
And the bottom of the order has done a really nice job for the Rangers this afternoon. You see the 7, 8, 9 hitters, 6 for 8 combined right now. This is Tocci's 4th plate appearance with the bases loaded so far this season. He's 0 for 2, but he did have a bases loaded walk. So he does have an RBI in these spots.
Pazos ahead 0-2. And pitch on the way. Tochi again spoils it to the right side.
It's pretty incredible that we've had all the rain that we've had over the last few days, and it is as overcast gets this afternoon. But really not, I mean, has there been any precipitation since this game started? Even
No,
today?
I mean, nothing,
A little early?
nothing material. I mean, maybe a little mist here or there. Seems to be getting better as the day goes on, too. A little soupy up there. Is this one a little high, and a ball and 2 strikes to Tochi. So far, 6 Rangers have come to the plate this inning. 3 have scored. 3 of them are out of the bases at the moment. Tochi, the 7th man up, so we've not found a Mariners pitcher who can record an out in this 6th inning yet. The 1-2 pitch, and that one fouled away. Pazos, the 3rd pitcher of the inning.
And even Tochi there, bat slipped a little bit as he looked down at his batting glove after that swing, and so the mystery of the slippery bats continues. Some bad glue stick getting passed around maybe here.
And the 1-2 pitch. And this one out to right field. Way up there. Negron has to back up a little bit. He'll make the catch. Tagging at 3rd, Chirinos. He scores. So a sac fly for Tochi, and it's 4-1.
That's a good job by Carlos Tochi to get the job done in that spot. You try to keep that line moving a little bit and keep the Mariners on their heels, and they do exactly that as he's able to lift that fly ball to right field, get Robinson Chirinos across the board. It's been a good inning here so far from the Rangers. Good approaches and their at-bats, getting the job done.
So 4 runs in. Men on the corners now for Chu. And pardon me, minute 1st and 2nd for Chu. Now, look at this glove for Pazos here. Now, I was under the impression, CJ, that multiple colors on the glove not allowed. I thought you had to have just a single tone glove as a pitcher.
I was unaware of that. That's pretty cool, though. You mean the leather, because you have the writing.
Sure.
I don't know.
I thought the leather had to be one uniform color.
I don't. You know what?
I thought there was a deal with that.
It's a good question. I'm not sure.
Those are clear, unless I'm seeing something different. I mean, those definitely look like
finger.
It's like,
why so blue?
It's like the coyote got the anvil dropped on his finger there. Pazos to the plate 0-2, and a slow roller right side of the infield. That was a slow developer. They get to 2nd for the 1-out. No chance at the double play, so the inning will continue. Chu simply replacing Rule.
Almost as if Cano was in no particular hurry to even maybe just assumed you're only going to get one, so why even try? And Scott Server says, hey, guess what? It's September. So that means we're allowed to use 4 pitchers in 1 inning.
Yes, you are, and yes, they will. Pazos faces 2 batters, and so the Mariners, seeing who else is out there. Everybody gets to play today. We remind you to click it or tick it, day and night. Sunday afternoon, Rangers leading 4-1 as they continue to bat in this 6th inning. Their 9th batter to come to plate in the inning, and of course it's the 4th pitcher of the inning for Seattle as Matt Festa is in.
Yeah, the rookie's done a nice job so far in his 5 games pitch. You see the 6 1/3 innings pitched so far. Just 1 strikeout to 1 walk, but just a 1.42 ERA for the 25-year-old out of Staten Island, New York. fastball, slider, curveball for Festa. The fastball's been averaging 93 so far this year. That slider at 86, and the curveball at 80. What a great name of his high school. St. Joseph by the Sea High School. Sounds very tranquil.
Profar batting here for the 4th time today. And he has 1 hit this afternoon and another one here. Should plate at least 1 run. 4 runs in this inning. Down the first base line, but foul. 0-2 the count on Profar.
So a couple of fun things kind of developing here, right? We saw Rougned Odor come in for Adrian Beltre and hit in his spot. If this were to hold, Odor had that great at bat, which he drew the walk, scored the 2nd run, would be the go-ahead run right now here. It has been the go-ahead run, could be the winning run with the Rangers, depending on how the bullpen does. But then also potentially for Jeffrey Springs, a shot at his first major league win.
0-2 pitch. That is outside.
Those days where he has been the opener and he's done a really nice job, you have 0 chance of getting a win as a pitcher because you got to go at least 5 innings. And when you're the opener, there are no plans for you to go 5 innings.
A swing and a miss. Profar strikes out, and so Festa gets it done. Retires the 1 batter he faces. We go to the 7th inning. Rangers on top 4-1. Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Shiner Day Quencher Session A. A very memorable day today here at Globe Life Park. 4-1. Rangers with the lead. Adrian Beltre out of the game. Left the game in the top of the 6th inning. And now Jeffrey Springs will come out again in the 7th inning. Face Kyle Seager. And the first pitch fouled away. No strike 1. So nice job so far by Jeffrey Springs. Great job today by Martin Perez, who went 4 innings, allowed a run on 2 hits. No walks and a strikeout, and Springs getting some longer work today. I think CJ, you mentioned it when he first came in the game. He's been fun to watch because he has had some success out here. He seems to have some confidence in what he's doing, has a plan, and for a young guy getting his first look, he's been impressive.
Laser focused, I think, what we started noticing, especially once he got comfortable at the big league level. Once they put him into that opener role a couple of times, he almost looked like a completely different guy when he was getting those starts. But it's good to see from Jeffrey because he is a guy, again, not overpowering fastball, and it seems like every guy that comes out of the bullpen these days is mid to upper 90s, but he's out here pitching.
This one in the air, short center field, and it drops in no man's land. Seager is on to start the 7th.
Tough break on this one as it just kind of hangs off the end of the bat. Good pitch by Jeffrey Springs, getting that weak contact, but unfortunately that ball found itself a home in the outfield.
And here comes Don Wakamatsu, so that leadoff single, that does it. Springs is done, and the signal was for the left-hander Matt Moore. So the Rangers dipping into their bullpen here in the 7th inning, up by 3. And, well, you know, you can show your spirit year-round by stocking up on Rangers gear at our team stores. Visit the Rangers team store in Fort Worth at Sundance Square or the majestic Grand Slam gift shop inside Globe Life Park. Hours and store info at texasrangers.com/retail. We get a lot of questions about the polos that we wear oftentimes on the air. And my understanding is those are all generally for sale.
I don't know. The one we were wearing yesterday, that sky blue one, was from a year ago.
Yeah. There's some Beltre jerseys still available.
I thought I heard Chuck Morgan mention something over the PA about pretty heavily discounted items here. Last home game of the year. I thought I heard something about 25% off at a couple of the shops around Globe Life Park. So if you're not here, got about an hour left. Come on down to the ballpark and get yourself some discounted items.
Maben fouls off strike one from Matt Moore.
By the way, I say an hour because I'm hoping it's going to be the case at 45 minutes as Matt Moore comes in, game number 35 for him as a reliever, game number 23. And for Matt Moore, he had 55 innings out of the rotation, and now it's 42 1/3 out of the bullpen. He had some struggles. The ERA was up over 8 as a starter. He's done some good things out of the bullpen. You know, it just wasn't going well for Matt Moore one of those years, and opposing hitters were batting .354 against him when he was in that rotation, but down to a much more respectable .241 out of the bullpen.
Check in on Seager. Seager with a couple of steals this year in 4 attempts. I don't know if they're terribly worried about him at the moment. Maben is 0 for 2. He's grounded out and popped up. And a little tapper in front of the plate. Chirinos with a bare hand. He'll make the play to first to get Maben. 1 away. We'll take a Southwest Airlines bullpen live look, and Chris Martin now getting ready in the pen. We saw 4 different Mariners pitchers last inning. We've seen Springs and Matt Moore so far here in the 7th for the Rangers.
Could you imagine if we saw, let's just say, Chris Martin before this inning was over, and that we would see 7 pitchers basically an inning, bottom of the 6th, top of the 7th.
Tell you everything you need to know about September. Negron 1 for 2 today, had the infield hit and scored the Mariners' only run. And that's with the man at second base. So far today, the Mariners 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Mariners scored 13 runs yesterday, and they did so on 16 hits. It's one of those games where they needed 1 run, technically, to win it. And the 0-2 pitch, that one pulled foul. Sometimes as a fan, I find myself thinking, save a few for tomorrow. Because I feel like this does happen, right?
Well, I don't
you
think
get
you want
loose.
The Mariners to save any runs for tomorrow.
No, but if your team, you think,
yeah,
hey,
no,
you know, don't waste too many runs on a game you already have well in hand. I know that's quite possibly one of the stupidest things you could.
It's poppycock.
It's definitely poppycock. But I can't help it. It's almost as if there's a universal amount of runs to be had out there, and you just want to allocate them properly. 0-2. And that one's a little tall. Ever crossed your mind as a player? We guys ever like sitting around the dome? Boy, scored 13 yesterday. That was stupid.
Yeah, when I'm in the rotation, you're not getting in support. I got to believe Jacob deGrom's had that thought a couple of times this year.
In the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Negron. Now Martin Perez back in the rotation today. Had the start, went 4 innings, and really did a great job.
Very positive development for Martin Perez. That was good to see. You know how badly he wanted to get back in that rotation. I'm sure he would have liked to have stayed in longer, but 49 pitches over 4 innings, very effective. He threw the ball well, and great defensive support he got.
Pop up down the first baseline, just foul. How far do you want to try and reach?
All that bragging we've been doing about Ranger fans, the great plays that they have made, that was not one of them. And there's a baby there too, which even makes that more irresponsible. Climbing over the whole family, there's a baby tucked in there.
I had to protect the baby.
One way to look at it.
Good at bat here for Negron. This will be the 7th pitch that he will have seen from Matt Moore. Seager off second, the 2-2. Another foul ball. The Mariners had a great start to the season. One of the really exciting stories to start the year. There was even a stretch there. We mentioned it the other night when they made the trade in May to bolster their club. Yeah, wow, they are committed to this thing, right? They got a real shot to make some noise. In June, they were leading the division. The point where they had a 2-game lead over Houston in June. They led for, I don't know, a better part, maybe almost the first half of the month of June, before finally the Astros took over and never looked back, and things turned the other way for Seattle. It was an extended, really good start for them. And overall, it's still going to be a good year. 85 wins coming into play today. Bouncer up the middle. Andrus is there for it and throws out Negron for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, I wonder how they ultimately will reflect on this season. They made a good run. They ran out of gas. They went through that period where they just couldn't get it going at all and fell further back in the standings and could never recover. You see Kyle Seager there, an off year for him. We had gone through it. Nobody has lost more hits to the shift in the American League than Kyle Seager, so he's had some bad luck. They make a lot of moves.
Well, they had, Robinson Cano suspended for 80 games for a violation of the drug policy, and that was certainly a detriment. Now, they played well. I mean, immediately in the aftermath of that suspension, they went 35-22. Things then started to catch up to them a little bit, but that was definitely a moment that they may look back on and say, well, what if? And for the Mariners, this was a season, maybe some thoughts about putting an end to that long postseason drought. Let's see. Longest in the American League. In fact, it's the longest in North America. In the 4 major professional leagues, the Mariners have the longest absence from postseason play. Last time they made it was 2001, and they tied a major league record with 116 wins. Talk about bad allocation. They used up all their wins in 01. Had only 2 winning seasons in the last 14 years. But they'll have one this year.
They also had Felix Hernandez taking a step backwards. That's something they're trying to figure out how they're going to manage. Another year left on his deal. He's in the bullpen now for the Seattle Mariners. They'd love to see him be able to bounce back. Stuff has come down. He's been such a warrior for them over the years.
Well, already it takes the walk. And so the Mariners have runners on the corners here. And David Freitas will get to the plate. There's Felix Hernandez, who we understand will be making a start in their next series, and they're excited to get him back. The hope is to get him to start maybe 2 before the season ends. And James Paxton. And now a little meeting out on the mound. Trinos with a lot of head shaking.
You see, this is a little bit more between pitcher and catcher, and a little laugh there at the end from the entire group. You see Rougned Odor involved in that conversation as well. We've talked about this a little bit, and you can start to notice the trend. We don't know what's going to happen with Adrian. let's make the assumption that he's not going to be here next year. We'd look at Elvis Andrus as the kind of next leader in waiting, but Rougned Odor also a guy I think that is really ready to kind of step into that spot. He's shown that leadership all year long, the intensity in which he plays the game, the work that he does. He leads tremendously by example. He's worth watching every day, the way he handles himself.
Freitas takes the first pitch and sends it right out to Tochi in center field, and that will do it. And the Mariners lead 2 on base. 7th inning stretch. Time for God Bless America here at Globe Life Park. We turn it over to Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise? And now in honor of all of the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world, on this Fan Appreciation Day, we invite everyone in Globe Life Park to join in singing God Bless America.
Sixth inning, it was a good one for the Rangers. Elvis Andrus with that double, and then it was Nomar Mazara with the big double to left center field all the way to the wall. That drove in a couple. You see Rougned Odor there with the head first slide, and then later Robinson Chirinos with this base hit up the middle. That scored Nomar Mazara. That was run number 3 in the inning. They added one more when Chirinos came around and scored later on a Carlos Tochi sacrifice fly. You see the 4 runs there for the Rangers as we head to the bottom of the 7th. They lead the Mariners by 3.
Oh, and so now the Rangers try and add to that lead. Elvis Andrus to lead things off, and he takes one in there for a strike. Andrus, Odor, and Nomar Mazara. Festa stays in the game. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So do you think anybody has ever said to him, it's a Festa miracle?
Do you think he'd be tempted if he were to go buy a new automobile, to buy a bus, like a small bus, maybe the Festa bus?
Festa bus? That would be a pretty good one.
Bouncer shortstop. High hop. And a routine play for Segura. 1 away.
The second baseman, Rougned Odor.
And here comes Rougned Odor. Roogie walked in the 6th inning. Really good at bat. Festa, who got the final out of the 6th inning. Scott Service will try to squeeze a little more out of him here, maybe get him through the 7th as well. Rangers have had a nice day offensively. 4 runs on 11 hits. They have left 7. So maybe a little missed opportunity out there for him today. 0-2 the count now on Rougned. We've seen a lot of different looking lineups in the last, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks. Rangers trying to get, some looks at some different ideas. And I thought it was interesting today too. Don Wakamatsu, his line today with regard to Martin Perez, and just that notion that, well, we're not real sure. We'll see as the day goes on what we want to do. And he said, basically, we want to just kind of treat it like a laboratory today. Let's take a look. Let's see what happens. Experiment with some other things. And this ball down the left field line slices foul. Stays 0-2. I love the idea of a laboratory.
Well, I think the idea of taking a look at what you have, the depth of the roster in September, it offers you that opportunity. You'd much rather be competing at this time of year, contending for a postseason spot, but it's not the case, and so that means maybe trying a couple of extra things. He's also talked about the importance of remaining competitive and not just throwing all the young guys out there, but the combination of getting a look, but also maybe putting some guys in some big spots too, because you'd like to test some of these young players.
It's always a tricky balance for managers this time of year, depending on their situation. Ooh, that one just nibbles off the outside corner, and Odor down looking. Doesn't like it.
I wonder how much this ball actually caught the strike zone. Ruben Odor didn't like it. It's a backdoor breaking ball, and you see it there. Curveball. It looked like it was down. Ruby certainly thought so.
So a 2 gone. It'll bring up Nomar Mazara. That's his first pitch. Chopper to the right side of second base, where the shortstop Segura has it and throws him out. A 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th inning. We'll head to the 8th this afternoon. Rangers up 4-1.
Astros, as deep as they are, saw Charlie Morton do it last year. Slide over to the bullpen at times in the postseason. We'll see what we'll hear tomorrow about, or maybe later today, as far as what the official news is on that.
I thought I heard similar news about Didi Gregorius with the Yankees, and the fact that he may be done for the year.
I didn't see that. That was today?
Yeah, Aaron Boone, I believe, told the media today that they're continuing to look into his situation, but that he indeed may be lost for the year. So talk about 2 teams with some big players hanging in the balance as we get ready for postseason, just a smidge more than a week away. Chris Martin coming on to pitch here in the 8th inning for the Rangers.
43rd game of the season for Martin. How about only 5 walks on the entire year? He has done an excellent job as far as filling up the strike zone. Has Chris Martin. The fastball's been averaging 95 miles per hour this season. I wasn't lying. 95 right there.
On the top of the order for Seattle, Segura, Cano, and Cruz. Did Segura go? They want an appeal. Yes, he did. Larry Vanover holds up that fist at first base. 1-1 the count. Segura's 0 for 3 so far today. It's been a great year for him, though. Batting over 300 coming in, is on base at 340 coming in. Martin's 1-1, and this one shot out into center field. That's a base hit, so Segura has his first hit of the game. Well, as you know, MLB At Bat is your #1 Rangers app. You can customize your experience and take advantage of great features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day. There's a lot more out there as well. Download MLB At Bat today. Well, it sounded like a directive, or like I was trying to be bossy. I'm just suggesting it as something you might want to do. encouraging you, if you will.
Came across as bossy.
A little.
Yeah.
A little. Felt a little bad about that. Cano takes a strike. 1 for 3 today with his base hit. Segura with a pretty small lead at first. No real concern for Martin. And that one is through the opening on the right side of the infield. And Cano has his second hit of the day. So 2 men on here to begin the 8th inning. And that'll give us a moment now to hear from the folks over at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
So with 2 base runners, here's Nelson Cruz. Chris Martin needs a ground ball. A little help here. Rather not this inning get away from him. 8th inning in a 4-1 game. Nice shot by Chirinos to try and sell that one just a little bit. Didn't get the call though. Segura and Cano, the base runners. Cruz, a potential tying run. And he checks his swing. That one hits foul, and it is 1-1. It's flat out, grounded out, struck out. That's off the plate, 2-1.
A spot right here for Chris Martin, trying to get Nelson Cruz to, listen, you got to get him out, period, but you fall behind in the count now. What is your best pitch that you can throw in the strike zone that you think he'll hit the top half of to try to keep the ball on the ground?
He gets this one in the air. It's not going to carry deep enough for him. Tochi in position. And that is the first out of the inning. Both runners thinking about advancing, but only Segura does. He'll go to third.
First baseman Ryan Healy.
1 away now. Hey, entertain your guests next year at Globe Life Park for a night of hospitality. You can do it in the suites. The suite rentals include parking passes, a suite attendant, concierge service, and recognition on the center field video board. Go to TexasRangers.com/suites and place a deposit for a suite rental in 2019. There they are. Folks enjoying the suites this afternoon. Excellent vantage point and premium in comfort right there. Healy takes a fastball for a strike. There's another one, 95 miles per hour. Healy is 0 for 3 today. Today with a start at first base, and he's done that quite a bit this year. It's been a revolving door for the Mariners at first. That's part of the reason they have given a look anyway at Robinson Cano over there as well. Healy initially came up with the Oakland A's, and he's very much a free swinger. Good power, 24 home runs this year. Last year hit 25 home runs, but he swings at just about everything. A lot of strikeouts last season as he takes this one in the dirt, 1-1.
So StatCast AI, of course, is powered by AWS. That gives us an opportunity to look at the sacrifice fly overlay. Now, Ryan Healy probably thinking about more than just driving in the 1 run, but if you were to hit that fly ball, you see those lines there. Anything from red and in, the runner would not be able to score. And that green line and beyond, you feel pretty confident that Segura will be able to tag up. And then you got that in between. That in between means, well, what kind of jump did he get? How accurate and strong is the throw going to be? And those are kind of those tweeners as far as the distance. And you saw for Carlos Tocci in dead center field, it was relatively shallow. So if he does get that opportunity based on where he's playing, which is a little bit deep right now, he's going to have to get behind that ball and make a real strong throw. And then you have to start thinking about, well, what's the smart play? How aggressive do you want to get as an outfielder right now? And the idea of trying to throw out Jean Segura, if you feel confident and it's one of those plays that you feel like you got a really good shot, then you go for it. But what you don't want to happen is allow that next run to get into scoring position with 2 outs, even though it's not the tying run. It's still a run that advances. So you got to be smart in those spots if there is another fly ball hit into the outfield.
And he'll go down looking. So 2 away. Oh, and Healy with some words for David Rackley as he walks away.
Yeah, not too happy, but this was a pretty good pitch, I thought, from Chris Martin, especially when you go back and you think about the pitch that Rougned Odor was called out on. This looked much more like a strike to me than the pitch that Odor was called out. Yeah, there you see it right there on the corner. That is a perfectly located fastball. Nice job at 94 miles an hour from Chris Martin.
So 2 outs now, and Kyle Seager, the batter. And he'll take ball 1. Seager 1 for 3. We've heard a lot of noise today from the Mariners dugout. A lot of comments and criticisms aimed toward Rackley. So that might have been just kind of festering and brewing for a while there with Healy. 2 strikeouts today.
Take a look at the shift right now that the Rangers are using against Seager. We mentioned he's lost a lot of hits to that chip, but Jurickson Profar, because of the score, is allowing Jean Segura to take as big of a lead as he, well, you can't see him anymore. Now there's Kyle Seager, 28 hits lost to the shift. That is the most in the American League. How about the Rangers on this list, though? Joey Gallo, Nomar Mazara, Rougned Odor, Chu, all in the top 12 in the American League. The point being there was that for Segura, he can take as big of a lead as he absolutely wants to take. Jurickson Profar is not keeping him close. The Rangers not worried about that run. They'd much rather take their chances and try to take away the hit. So Segura, he hasn't been, but he can be aggressive with his secondary, which could be a little bit of a distraction to Chris Martin, but also would give him a really good opportunity to score against any ball that's in the dirt, right? It's one thing when it's a wild pitch and it goes all the way to the screen, but one that maybe just kicks away. If you take a little bit more of an aggressive lead, you might have a chance to score, but he literally is not even moving. That is the opposite. That is the anti-aggressive lead. I don't think I've seen his feet move in the last 30 or 40 seconds. 45 to 50 seconds.
This is
in the last 55 seconds to 1 minute.
This is really interesting. Seager wasn't happy about that last strike call, and Segura still hasn't moved.
There we go.
Little nudge. There's a bouncer out into right field, but Odor positioned out there, throws out Seager, and the inning is done. So Martin puts up a goose egg in the 8th. Last of the 8th on the way, with the Rangers leading by 3. Department of Transportation. We remind you to click it or ticket, day and night. That's a 3-run lead for the Rangers. Bottom of the 8th inning. And they'll send their 6, 7, and 8 hitters this inning against Ryan Cook, new pitcher in the ball game for Seattle.
See Robinson Chirinos getting ready to lead off against Cook. 18th game on the season. Has done a nice job with his 21 strikeouts and 15 innings of work so far this season. Cook's got a good arm. Fastball averaging 95 so far this year. The slider at 85 and the changeup at 89. And even though it's only 15 innings so far, the splits .250 batting average for left-handed hitters. Righties hitting just .222 against Ryan Cook.
All right, Chirinos had an RBI single in that big 6th inning for the Rangers, the inning in which they scored all 4 runs. Robbie with 17 homers this year, now 63 RBIs. And Cook turns him off the plate. That one got just a piece of him. And so once again, Robinson Chirinos, this one didn't hurt very bad, but he's hit by a pitch. Well, looking ahead to our series opener tomorrow in Anaheim, Rangers and Angels. Adrian Sampson will be starting for the Rangers. Felix Pena has the ball for the Angels. Guzman takes strike one. And there's Adrian Beltre.
That's negative.
Sampson.
Are you sure?
I don't know who it is. I can't tell.
Well, he tried to do it again, did Ronald Guzman.
Well, why not?
2 slap hits to the left side. The Mariners continue to give him all that space. Kyle Seager's kind of standing there looking over and now coming back a couple of steps. And they're going to close that gap. If you're going to pitch him away, Ronald Guzman is more than willing to do that. And Kyle Seager actually just looked into his catcher and said, I'm going to play him a little bit more straight up. Already gotten beaten twice today. Not going to allow it to happen again after that foul ball. And I wonder, that's just a decision that he makes on his own. Kyle Seager's a veteran. You certainly would feel like veteran defenders can make some of their own decisions. You've got to be able to trust your players. You don't want to completely control them like robots, but Kyle Seager has made an executive decision. He's no longer going to play 20 feet off the line.
You think they have that latitude?
I think a little bit. I think you have to give them some. I mean, the way he reacted after that foul ball, it was almost like, come on, why am I standing all the way over there? This guy has already shown us twice, and he just hit another foul ball there. And he tried to slap it in that hole. I'm going to close it up a little bit.
No balls, 2 strikes. This one pulled foul.
So that guy right there, Dave?
Yeah.
Adrian Beltre.
That's Chu.
29. And Chu's there as well. That's Adrian Sampson.
Where's Sampson? Oh, right there. Who's that?
That's the guy that's going to be a Hall of Fame. Hopefully in 6 years, but potentially 5.
I think he might have tipped his hand a little bit today. This one waved at and missed. Running on the play, though. Chirinos, he gets to second. And thought about maybe hopping up and going for third. Strike out on a wild pitch.
First to pitch, well below the zone, breaking ball from Cook and a sharp one. And a good read there by Robinson Chirinos, who, thank God, didn't get hit by that ball. It was close. We talk about how often this happens. He saw the ball in the dirt, took off. Look at this right there. I mean, that could have got him in the ribs or something, the way things have gone forward. Robinson Chirinos, with all the foul tips that he has taken this year, that's the last thing you want to see.
Guzman could have easily gotten a base there.
No.
First base occupied.
Yeah.
Yep. Never mind. Whew. Time is it?
Adrian Sampson might have been able to take first on that.
Bartender. Rule with a couple of hits.
But that's a fun one when you go to a Little League game.
Yeah.
And parents yelling, run in that spot, because that does happen.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That one gets me so many times. Little League games, big league games.
Dad's upset his kid just struck out, but he could have ran. Run! No, first base is occupied. You can't run. The bigger thing is to make sure your team doesn't panic in those spots, because when you're young, you start hearing that. Next thing you know, start throwing the ball around all over the field when there was actually no opportunity to advance.
So we talked about Little League earlier in the week and coaching and that sort of stuff. I remember at some point, one of the Little League teams that I worked with, I was like, all right, how about this? How about you just always run?
Yep.
First base is occupied. It's okay. They'll let you know. But just always run. But that doesn't, it does sort of create problems, because then the guy on first sometimes takes off.
Yeah, he needs to be in the know.
Rua strikes out looking 2 away.
Time now for our cricket smile, and who else could it be today but Adrian Beltre, the future Hall of Famer. Top of the 6th inning, Rougned Odor came out to relieve him of his duties. Of course, his good friend Elvis Andrus there as well, and Adrian tipping his cap for the fan base here at Globe Life Park. Possibly, maybe, the last time in this ballpark. A hug from Hanser Alberto and the rest of the team. We will see, but Adrian Beltre, he took in the moment, and he doesn't do that very often. We know that about him. Not a lot of fanfare to what he does. And the body language tells us maybe there is something on the horizon. We don't feel overly comfortable speculating about something like that, but watching this whole thing unfold, there is a part of us that thinks quite possibly, maybe, that this will be the last time that Ranger fans will be able to see Adrian Beltre in their home ballpark.
Gallo pinch hitting here, takes one of the dirt, and that one squirts away from Freitas as well, and Chirinos goes to third. So another wild pitch.
To be clear, we'd love to be wrong. We are wrong. To see Adrian for another season in this Texas Rangers uniform, but we just don't know.
One-0 pitch to Joey, and he takes up and away. And, I mean, Adrian is said as much as he is comfortable saying at this point, but Emily pointed it out earlier. You could read between the lines. He's not interested in a farewell tour, does not want any part of that. He has never wanted to be the center of attention. And as much as he is such a great leader in this clubhouse, I think there are times where even that part of it for him is a little more than he wants. You know? He wants to come do his job, play the game, and be great at it, and that's kind of it. This Gallo smashes one high in the air, deep to center field, a majestic shot. Gallo with the 2-run homer. And the Rangers up by 5.
One step closer for Joey Gallo. We talk about the possibility of repeating 40 home run seasons. That is number 39 for Joey Gallo, and RBIs 90 and 91, which is already a career high for him. Pitches left up over the plate. And there's that patented Joey Gallo swing as he catches that thing out front. And that is exactly what he talks about, his approach. Spinning the ball, getting that backspin to dead center field. And this was a big one, and a nice play there on Greens Hill. Always amazed at those plays those guys make out there. One to go. Can he get 9 RBIs? Probably not. That's probably a stretch. That's asking a lot, but to get to 100, that would be cool to see as well. But we're pretty greedy here in the booth.
Yeah,
40 and 100.
You have one big game and then a couple other moments along the way. I think it's possible. 2 pulls this one to the right side of the infield, and that will result in the final out of the inning. But a 2-run homer by Joey Gallo. And so the Rangers lead it 6-1. And Joey, as we point out, just one shy of 40 for the year. The big fella gets one big swing today. The Rangers with the lead.
The Mariners 6-1, and Built for Baseball is always brought to you by T-Mobile. Joey Gallo in a big spot here in the bottom of the 8th inning. A pinch hit opportunity drives this one to dead center field. Home run number 39 for Joey Gallo. He hit 41 a year ago, and the idea of getting there again, well, he just got a step closer to Joey Gallo. That was a fun one to watch, and the Rangers lead it by 5, and Gallo will stay in the game. He was pinch hitting for Carlos Tocci, so he remains in center field.
Been Gamble to pinch hit here, and Jose Leclerc on to pitch. 9th inning, and it's a 6-1 lead.
Here are the numbers for Jose Leclerc. Game number 57. He has been absolutely crushing it this year. 11 saves and a 1.65 ERA.
Gamble batting for Cameron Maben. 2-0 pitch, and he'll take a strike. 95 miles per hour with that fastball. We have seen him at that mark and higher this year. Same numbers for Gamble. Not a lot of power in there this year for him. But he hits this ball high in the air out to right field. Mazzara has room, and he gets there for out number 1. Well, the 18-inning scoreless streak for Jose Leclerc. He's allowed 3 hits in those 18 innings. 3 for 53 opposing hitters. 5 walks against 31 strikeouts. It's pretty much just been complete dominance. And the first pitch, Christopher Negron is right in there for a strike.
I mentioned it's been a while since we have seen Jose Leclerc on the mound. Hasn't pitched in a week. It's a good opportunity for him to get in this game. Looked like it was going to be a save opportunity, so that's the downside, I guess, if you want to be really selfish and mad about Joey Gallo's home run. You could say, well, it took away the save for Jose Leclerc, but I don't care. That's home run number 39, and we want to see him get to 40 again, and I'm sure Jose Leclerc is on board with that as well.
Bouncer shortstop, and Andrews throws him out. Good dig over at first base. And really, Guzman today, he's been challenged from the start of this thing, and now all the way to the 9th inning. He's had to go up after balls, reach down the line. He's made a lot of good plays.
Yeah, it's a routine play here for Elvis Andrews. He's made some spectacular plays today, and we've seen Ronald Guzman do this a lot and have a little bit of fun, smiling the entire way.
So 2 gone, and looks like misting up just a little bit more right now.
You are outside.
You see, it's like it's going to snow.
Oh, you were getting misty-eyed.
I'm a little
Last whole
misty-eyed.
game.
Vogelback steps in to hit. It's very emotional when he gets an opportunity. One of my favorites. Pinch hitting here for Heredia. He'll take up and away. $31,269 the announced paid attendance today. Rangers ended up in home attendance mark this year a little better than 2.1 million. John Wakamatsu and Doug Brocail talking things over. Two-one pitch. Got away. Might have missed it up a little bit when Beltre came out of the ball game. That was legitimately difficult to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
He's meant a lot to this franchise, a lot to these fans, and same to all those guys in the dugout. 3-1 pitch for him. There's a full count now on Vogelback.
About 98 there from Jose Leclerc reaching back in that 3-1 count.
Well, if this is the final home game in Beltre's career, fitting, appropriate, whatever, that would appear he'll be able to shake hands with his teammates after. Vogelback lines it out to right, and that will do it, and Beltre and the Rangers will shake hands out in the middle of the diamond. A 6-1 win this afternoon. Jose Leclerc tidy as usual in the 9th. So the Rangers take the final game of the series and win the series 2-1, and we'll be back to wrap things up here in just a moment.